Hello, I'm Mrs. Howard. I'm going to be working with you today on fact and opinion. We will be learning about fact and opinion. Most students are already familiar with the words fact and opinion, and you probably already have an idea about what each one means. Compare what you already know about fact and opinion to new information that you will learn during this session. Let's look at some examples. Fact. Eva Longoria is known for her role as Gabrielle Solis on ABC's Desperate Housewives. This is a fact. It can be proven. Opinion. Eva Longoria is one of the most influential Hispanics in Hollywood. Now that is a statement of opinion. The words most influential indicate that's someone's point of view, someone's attitude. Therefore, this is a statement of opinion. Let's look at some other examples. Fact. Texting while driving distracts drivers and causes accidents. This is recorded. This is documented information. An opinion would be texting while driving should be illegal. Now that is someone's attitude. The words should be help the reader to understand this is a viewpoint. We're going to find out what those words should be are called later and helping you determine what fact and opinion is. Hopefully you're not texting and driving. It's very dangerous. A fact is a specific detail that is true based on objective proof. Now let's look at what objective proof is. Objective proof can be physical evidence, an eyewitness account of the result of an accepted or the result of an accepted scientific method. An opinion is an interpretation, a value judgment, or belief that cannot be proved or disproved. Some reading material that contains facts are textbooks, news articles, and medical research. These types of information rely heavily on facts. In contrast, a fact is a specific, objective, and verifiable detail that uses unbiased words. It's matter of fact, straightforward information. Here you have the fact checkers. You can be a fact checker too. You're an effective reader and a critical thinker. On the other hand, an opinion is a biased personal view created from feelings and beliefs. I'm right. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. I'm right. And still we have some material that is fact and opinion. Perhaps you're familiar with editorials, advertisements, and fiction. That's a mixture of fact and opinion. Separating fact from opinion requires you to think critically because opinion is often presented as facts. Now, when you're reading, as effective readers and critical thinkers, you have to ask yourself, as you're reading your material, ask questions to help you identify facts. To test whether a statement is a fact, ask yourself these three questions. Question 1. Can the statement be proved or demonstrated to be true? Can the statement be observed in practice or operation? Can the statement be verified by witnesses, manuscripts, or documents? If the answer to these questions is yes, then chances are you're reading information that's facts, and answering these questions can help you identify facts. Let's look at some examples. Here we have 4 statements. Now, as we read along, I want you to think carefully and determine if the statement is a statement of fact or opinion. and we'll have to be able to support our answers as we go. Here we go. Number 1. Lady Gaga collapsed and passed out before a show in West Lafayette, Indiana. Is that a statement of fact or opinion? Can it be proved, or is that someone's attitude or viewpoint? You get it right. It's a statement of fact. It's a fact because it can be easily verified in newspapers. Many people read about it. Let's look at our next practice. Lady Gaga wears outlandish costumes just to get attention. What type of statement do you think that is? Fact or opinion? You may want to write these down in your notes. Good, you got it. This is a statement of personal opinion. Some critics and fans may think her costumes are innovative and fun, cool, racy, hot. And some believe, as the author does, that she wears outlandish costumes just to get attention. You decide. Look at her. Okay. Let's move on to number 3. You're doing good. You're doing real good. Lady Gaga combines music, fashion, art, and technology in her body of work. Determine if that is a statement of fact or a statement of opinion. You're doing very well, very well. This is a fact. You're right. This statement can be verified through research and eyewitness experiences. And our last example for this activity. Number 4. Lady Gaga's stage name is based on the song Radio Gaga by Freddie Mercury and his band Queen. Even though you may not be that familiar with this information, just look at it and think carefully. You're critical thinkers. You can decide. Yes, it is a statement of fact. It can be easily verified through research. When reading information as critical thinkers and effective readers, you come across biased words. Let's look at some biased words to help you identify opinions. Biased words to help you identify opinions. I want you to be on the lookout for these biased words. They express opinions, value judgments, and interpretations. And they're often loaded with emotion. Now, if you look at the list, there are very familiar words, commonly used words, and many times I'm sure you've seen them before and you've spoken them and you've written them before. But this time we're going to look at them in a context to help you identify opinions, statements of opinions. You may want to pause this session and write the words down and keep them in your notes so you can refer back to them at another time. They're very helpful. You need to keep up with these. Are biased words to help you identify opinions. Let's look at some examples. Here are a couple of examples and see if you can identify the biased words in these statements. Even though President Barack Obama is around 50 years old, he is still very handsome. That is a statement of opinion. What are the biased words in that statement? See if you can determine what they are. Very handsome. That is correct. That is a value judgment and interpretation, a personal opinion. Let's look at our next example. The grasslands of the American West were tragically plowed under for crops. Now the second sentence, the grasslands of the American West were plowed under to make way for crops, is a fact. But tragically plowed under is a matter of opinion. Okay? Doing good? I know. You'll be doing fine. Continue on. You're effective readers and critical thinkers. In addition to biased words, students, you will have to note qualifying words to help you identify opinions. Be on the lookout for words that qualify an idea. A qualifier may express an absolute, unwavering opinion using words such as always or never. Other times, the qualifier expresses an opinion in the form of a command, as in must or the desirability of an action with a word such as should. Qualifiers may indicate different degrees of doubt with words such as seems or might. I want you to look at this list of words. Again, it's a common list of words. I'm sure you've seen them many times. You've written them and spoken them on several occasions. It's a good idea to record these with your bias words. And you may want to pause this session so you can record these and keep them in your notes. It's a very, very valuable list. I know you'll do good. Let's continue. Remember that a sentence, let's practice and see if you can identify the qualifiers in these sentences, or this sentence rather. Every citizen who wants to be informed about current events should subscribe to at least 2 newspapers and never miss the nightly news. What do you think? What are the qualifiers in this sentence? Yes, they are every, should, and never. The fact is that newspapers and the nightly news do cover current events, but these qualifiers express a personal opinion about this fact. Someone would have to be very passionate about the news to watch it every night, never miss it, and read the newspaper every time. That's a lot of news, but there are some people like that. It's important to note that every, should, and never are the qualifiers in this sentence. Stay with us. I know you're doing just fine. When you're reading critically and effectively, you will oftentimes have to evaluate details as fact or opinion in context, because the printed word seems to give authority to an idea. Many of us accept what we read as fact, yet much of what is published is actually opinion. Now, effective readers such as yourself question what they read. Reading critically and thinking critically is noting the use of fact and opinion in the context of a paragraph or a passage, the author and the type of source in which the passage is printed. Let's look at this chart. To the left column, you have examples of language expressing facts. These are some of common phrases that you would see in language that expresses facts, and it refers to factual sources. According to the results of the latest poll, the latest studies confirm, the research has demonstrated, researchers have recently discovered. Now, as critical thinkers and effective readers, you might want to, when this session is over, complete these phrases. That would be good for some extra credit as well as extra practice. Much of what we read in print and electronic media is a mixture of factual details and the author's opinion. Often an author words an opinion as a fact in an effort to make a point more believable. One way to distinguish between fact and opinion is to evaluate the context. That's what we're doing now. The language used by an author helps us to decide whether a statement can be backed up with evidence and proven in some way. Language also indicates whether the statement is someone's point of view, judgment, or belief. Now, we've already studied biased words and qualifiers that signal an opinion. Let's look at some examples of language that express opinions. That would be to the right of the chart. The prosecution argues that. That means the prosecution has one particular stand. The next one says that the defense claims that. And the defense has a viewpoint as well. And the next one states, in the president's view, that's an even greater perspective, another perspective. Most experts in this field suspect that. These are examples of language that expresses opinions. In addition to the wording of an idea, relationships between ideas and thought patterns may also signal a fact or an opinion. For example, facts are often stated as examples or details that can be verified. Let's look at another chart. These are examples of thought patterns for facts. They can be noted as definitions, causes and effects, examples, or details. Examples of thought patterns for opinions: when you're doing comparisons, or you're stating various reasons, explanations, and interpretations. Quality, traits, attributes, and features, I might add. Well, of course, some comparisons and traits are factual, and authors can present possible or probable causes and effects that haven't even been proven. So an effective reader and a critical thinker must analyze the context of each statement. Many times in your college textbook reading experiences, you will come across statements that are a mixture of fact and opinion. The mixture of fact and opinion occurs when an author interprets or evaluates a fact. Let's look at the following example statements. Okay? You ready? All right, we have 3 statements here. The facts are highlighted in orange, and the opinions are highlighted in green. Let's look at them carefully. A constitution is a document establishing the structure, function, and limitations of a government. Opinion: the United States Constitution is far superior to other forms of government. Fact and opinion: the 55 delegates who attended the Constitutional Convention labored long and hard that hot summer of 1787. Now, the first statement is a type of definition, a fact that can be verified. The second statement begins like a definition, but it really only offers an opinion based on a comparison. That's like comparing the United States Constitution to the Constitution of other countries, a comparison. Now, the third statement offers factual historical details. However, the author has also characterized the work of the delegates with some biased language that describes the traits of the work and the work environment. The phrase labored long and hard may have different meanings to different people. The questions how hard and how long remain unverified. Likewise, what is hot to one person may not be hot to another. Thus, the trait hot is a statement of opinion. Are you coming? You understanding? I know you were having some fun here. Continuing on, as effective readers, you will have to evaluate the context of the author. Now, even though opinions can't be proved true like facts can, many opinions are still sound, valid, and valuable. To judge the accuracy of the opinion, you must consider the source. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. Consider the source, the author of the opinion. Authors offer 2 types of valid opinions: informed opinions and expert opinions. An author develops an informed opinion by gathering and analyzing evidence. We'll mark that I.O. An author develops an expert opinion through much training and extensive knowledge in a given field. We'll mark that EO. Additionally, as students, college students, you will refer to factual sources, information that is proven true. Factual sources provide you with factual details needed to form both informed and expert opinions. These sources include dictionaries, handbooks, research, journals, etc. We'll mark that FS. And by the way, each one of you, college students, should have a dictionary. That is basic equipment for a college student. Let's look at some examples and see if you can determine the source of these statements. This is a list of sources. Let's see from which information can be obtained. We'll do IO if it offers an informed opinion. We'll do EO if it offers an expert opinion. We'll do FS if it is a factual source. You may want to write this down, continuing with your practice, and keep this in your notes so you can refer back to it. You are effective readers, critical thinkers, and very, very good college students. Let's begin. Let's say you're reading a World Book Encyclopedia. What type of source is that? FS, IO, or EO? Correct. Factual source. This is proven information. It has been gathered and analyzed and compiled and put together. It is factual information. All right, let's do the next one. An LSCC course catalog. Current ones are out now, so you should be able to access them for Lawson State Community College. What type of source is that? Factual, informed, or expert opinion? Very good, correct. Factual source. This is verifiable information. Let's continue. Webster's Dictionary. Webster's Dictionary. Very good. That is a factual source. You're doing so well. I'm very proud of you. Let's continue. A statement about current fashion trends by a newly trained salesperson in the men's department at a major department store, such as Macy's or K&G. What would that be? What source would that be? Very good. Informed opinion. This person has worked with this material. They know, they've studied the current fashion trends, and they have enough information to provide a valid opinion. Let's look at the next one. An English teacher's advice about the best way to write an essay. I know you English students will get this one right. I know it. Have you written your essay lately? You should. Okay. What source would that be? Yes. EO means expert opinion. I'm glad you regard your teacher as an expert. Okay. Moving on along. A carefully researched and documented student essay about global warming. Is that IO, FS, or EO? Write what you think that source is. Good. Informed opinion. You have to gather the research. You have to read the documentation and then put it in the form of an essay. So you got a lot of information to form a valid opinion. And our last practice statement. A statement about football by Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy. Is that FS, IO, or EO? You decide. Yes, he is an expert. Anytime you can coach a team to the Super Bowl, you've got to be an expert. And by the way, Tony Dungy is the author of 2 books. You should check them out sometimes. They're very, very good. They're bestsellers. He's a coach and an author as well. Well, students, we've come to the end of our chapter. It's been fun. It's time to review our key concepts of fact and opinion. We have to sum up, make sure that you got the information that you needed to help you continue being an effective reader and a critical thinker as well. Key concept number 1. A fact is a specific detail that is true, states reality, and uses unbiased words. An opinion is an interpretation, value judgment, or belief that cannot be proved or disproved. The mixture of fact and opinion occurs when an author interprets or evaluates a fact. An informed opinion is developed by gathering and analyzing evidence. That's part of the activity that we just completed. An expert opinion is developed through much training and extensive knowledge in a particular field. We just finished studying that concept as well in the prior activity. You may want to pause the session at this point to write this down, and again, keep it in your notes. Always keep good notes, students, so that you can refer back to it. Now that we have completed our study of fact and opinion, it's time to apply what you have learned. In application 1, we have 5 statements. You will have to determine, after you read them carefully, you will have to determine if these are statements of fact, opinion, or a mixture of fact and opinion. You must be able to support your answers. You don't want to just say fact. What makes it a fact? You don't want to say just an opinion. You have to support what makes it an opinion. What qualifying words are there? What biased words are there? If the statement is fact and opinion, what part of it is fact? What part of it is opinion? Be able to support your responses. I want you to think carefully and read carefully. You can do this. Number 1. The college catalog states that 2 semesters of English and math are required. Is this a statement of fact, opinion, or a mixture of fact and opinion? You can put F or O or F/O. Be ready to support your response. Number 2. Hip-hop music is the voice of people oppressed by social injustice. Indicate whether this is a statement of fact, opinion, or a mixture of both fact and opinion. Be able to tell why you chose your answer. Number 3. Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama are the 2 most influential African American women of this generation. Is that a statement of fact, opinion, or a mixture of fact and opinion? Always be ready and able to support your answer. Number 4. African American scientists have impacted society through their inventions and discoveries. Is that a statement of fact, opinion, or a mixture of fact and opinion? And lastly, number 5. 2008 Kia Sedona LX, red, V6, 3.8 liter, automatic, gray interior, AC, power windows, power locks, dual heated seats, cruise control, Bose sound system with CD, premium wheels, excellent condition, 32,000 miles, only $18,900, a must see. Now determine if this advertisement, this is an ad, probably see in the want ads or an advertisement in the newspaper. Determine if this is a fact, opinion, or a little bit of both. Be able to support your answers. Please double check your work. You want to do the very best that you can. You may need time to go back and refer to one that you were maybe uncertain about. I do want you to do well. Let's continue. This is our second application to see how well you understand concepts that we've studied about fact and opinion. Activity 1. In your own words, describe the difference between fact and opinion. In your own words, describe the difference between fact and opinion. Again, you may want to pause this lesson and write your directions down because you are expected to submit this assignment to your instructor. your second activity, you have to summarize the 2 most important ideas that you have learned in this Tegrity session about fact and opinion that will help you better understand college textbook material. Actually, students, if you think about it, it'll help you better comprehend any kind of reading material. But because we want you to be very effective readers and critical thinkers, we want to make sure that you do well in your college coursework so that when you graduate from Lawson State Community College, you can offer expert opinions in your career and professional field. It has been my pleasure to present this lesson on fact and opinion to you. Please refine and proofread your work and submit it to your instructor. Have a nice day.